Hi, everybody. This is day 1300. 1300. And of course, we've had so much breaking news this week with the knowledge that there were incidences between Richard and Dallas um, previously, and those altercations. That's huge news. And of course, that we have audio of proving that Tavita Nusa lost his badge. Um, our timeline is going backwards before the 14th of September, 2021, I believe. So that is huge. And of course, Lalani Hart getting her mail at Dreams Cabaret. That means that she was employed there. She was managing there or something. She was there quite often if you're going to get your mail at Dreams Cabaret. And she was having sexual acts with the CID, Tavita Nusa, that was in charge of investigating Richard's whistleblowing and his disappearance. Now and she's the mother of Richard's platoon leader, Dallas Hart. Dallas Hart. Um, and that's all coming out, because these are criminals. They have criminal records. And, you know, DA Hicks can try to cover up and all of that. But it's all coming out. And, uh, you know, Bill Hicks, he even blocked us from his email, which shows a deliberate, uh, malicious intent to put us in danger, really, to put us in danger, to obstruct justice in Richard's case. So, and uh, many more violations that he has done. So, I think that losing his law license is on the table, and being arrested is on the table. And, this is a huge week for him because he's trying to run for reelection. This criminal is trying to run for reelection. It's so obvious that that he was up to no good and be representing purchase funeral homes up until he took office, which is such a conflict of interest. So he's up to no good. And this, what the newspaper tells the public is that the funerals for all the victims are free. They're free. Um, Somebody always has to pay. It's always who donated the money. That's the real question. Who donated the money to fund the burials of the victims? That's very important. Where did that come from? So, uh, and Bill Hicks would know because he represented them, and that would entail a lot of the legal factors of all that information. So that makes purchase funeral homes a witness in the August 3rd, 2019 Walmart mass shooting case, which is intertwined with Richard's case, which they are then so intertwined. It's the same people, and that just doesn't happen. If you look at any cases, it's not the same people. In Richard's case and the Walmart case, it's the same people. And so they're one case. If you solve one, you solve the other, and vice versa. So this is, Purchase being a key witness, not only in Richard's case, the Walmart case, but also Richard's case then. And DA Hicks had been representing them up until he took the office. So, he cannot prosecute the Walmart case. This is a clear conflict of interest. And there's no indication that he has any honor or integrity at all, Bill Hicks. So he absolutely, matter of fact, what the indications are is that he's a criminal, that he has committed crime after crime after crime, on top of weaponizing the DA's office against many victims and their families. So I think this is really important for people to understand when it comes to Bill Hicks, what all he did, and what all he is doing, um, in both to the Walmart victims and their families, and to Richard and to Team Richard Halliday. It's law saboteur, and I'll even read what a law saboteur is, because I went and looked it up, and I thought, wow, that is really appropriate. So let me see if I can find it, because I know I wrote a note about it. Law saboteur. A law saboteur is a term that suggests someone who intentionally undermines or obstructs the law or legal processes. It implies that someone who works against the enforcement or the integrity of laws, regulations, or legal proceedings, often for personal gain or to achieve specific objectives. Absolutely. So essentially, a law saboteur is someone that seeks to disrupt the proper functioning of a legal system. That's what that is. And why do we have a law saboteur as a district attorney who is supposed to be working, serving that legal system, the American legal system, the Constitution of the United States? Why do we have someone in office doing that? So that, to me, to be a law saboteur is a criminal. That's what that is. It's a criminal. So the breaking news with Dallas Hart, he is becoming more and more suspect. Of course, he's always been a prime suspect. I even asked him, I even said, did you know that you have been named in being the murderer of our son? And he said yes. He knew that. Okay. He didn't even defend himself. He did not defend himself. So it's very interesting, because we have this information with Tavita Nusa, because of course Leilani Hart was engaged in sex acts with Tavita Nusa, and those sex acts were adulterous. Okay, they were adulterous. And, people would say, oh, an affair. I think they've glorified the word affair, because there's not any loyalty there. There's not any integrity there. There's not any faithfulness there, because we have witnesses that say Leilani Hart was engaged in sex acts with many, with others in prominent positions that would meet her needs. And so, that's very important for everyone to understand, especially since she's from Dreams Cabaret. Okay. So we had a hard time knowing about her because she has such a sketchy background and she has seemingly immigration issues. And, it's like, what's her name? Is it Lolanthia, Iolanthia, Lorian? What's her name? We don't know what's her name. Um, and, but we do know, and we don't know exactly where she's from because Dallas told me she's from the Philippines, then she's from Western Samoa, then, where is she really from? Where did she come from? Well, we know, I can tell you this right now, 100%. She's from Dreams Cabaret. That's where she's from. And that's notorious for their illegal activity. So, that is the nightclub, the strip joint that had many, many issues, including uh, hundreds of soldiers spending their military credit cards at Dreams Cabaret. So, and that was being investigated. And there's, more. There's more. So the Fort Bliss has become um, a gravy train for criminals. And absolutely, we know that the big thing in all of this is the weapons smuggling and the ammunition smuggling, the human trafficking, the narcotics trafficking, uh, the um, organ trafficking, which is so hard to say because we know that there are tens of thousands, 85,000 up until 2022. The new numbers we don't have yet. Um, 85,000 missing minors from Fort Bliss. Where are they? And this is where I point to Ann Ogle. This is where I point to Thomas Kane because he was the director of emergency services, the chief of security of Fort Bliss, and they have left these military installations wide open, unsecured, and everything can come in there from the narcotics to illegal weapons, unregistered weapons, to young children living in the barracks being pimped out, and letting the weapons come off in and off out of the installation to be brought to Juarez to be sold because it's such big money. So this is huge because you can say, do you really believe it? Absolutely. I saw the shaking with my own eyes. I saw their faces with my own eyes. You have to have been there. They the soldiers that didn't like it were retaliated against or really afraid of retaliation, so went along with it. The leadership, all they were doing was rushing around, trying to figure out how they're going to cover this up, and it was absolute insanity. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. Um, of course, we didn't know really what happened to our son at that time, but we knew that all of their actions were so insane that it pointed to that our son had been murdered. And absolutely, it pointed to that Richard was reporting on something because we were told by many witnesses when we got there that the IG were all over the barracks because of Halliday, and of course that he had called the CPS um, multiple times uh, on Belen Rocha, and that he was in possession, that he handed in of sex tapes, sex recordings, and they were trying to cover that up. And that all needs to be reported. I'm thinking about all the things that we have reported to the authorities and some of the things that we have not. And I think that's why this book, it's getting longer and longer, needs to be reported, because the agencies themselves do not want to do their due diligence in the investigation. We have been left to investigate our son's disappearance on our own, and their investigations are absolutely nothing, no investigation at all. And we know that with Jessica Veltri, the senior agent for the CID Quantico, because she never ever visited the crime scene, and they didn't. She never really interviewed our key witness, and there's just so many things that just Richard's possessions, the vehicles that are involved in this, certain addresses that are involved in this, and one that I've named, which is 3905 Bliss Avenue. Another one I've named, 3705 Bliss Avenue. Another one that I named, Van Buren Avenue. Um, and there's more, and there's others, right? Others that are connected to Dallas Hart, that all, that's also connected to the autopsy report, which is, really, really shocking. And we also submitted uh, a letter with asking for information, an investigation into the autopsy reports for Richard. So and they have totally been silent on that. Matter of fact, the judge Robert Shook, who we asked for clarification on the autopsy reports, um, up and moved, without responding. So the cover up is huge, but it's breaking. It's breaking. And this is for Richard, but it's for others as well. Others and other families that knew that the narrative around their loved one was absolute insanity, and they wanted justice for their loved one, and all they got was a cover up narrative that didn't make sense and was not right, was not the truth, was not justice. So we are really fighting for justice for Richard, and for so many other service members that we have been contacted by their family. So we also, um, just ask for a lot of prayers right now. Tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, and Ash Wednesday is the day we humble ourselves, right? Because we know that we've come from ashes and that we will return to ashes. Um, we are human beings. Uh, we're not immortal. And, so it is a real time of prayer. And this case is really busting. It is busting. And with that comes a lot of emotions of relief, but also, to hold back. Uh, can you imagine? Can you imagine when your son has been brutally murdered and dismembered, and all this cover up after being retaliated against continuously and severely? how our emotions are. Our emotions, they require a lot of prayer. So during this time, God is so good to give us Ash Wednesday to reflect and make sure that we stay on the right path, to not be so emotional, control it all, so that we can um, get to the truth and get accountability. That's what we want. And with that accountability, we absolutely need to put on the table the death penalty, because what they have done in the mass shooting case, and El Pasoans want the death penalty already in the mass shooting case, and that's Richard's case. So the death penalty is on the table, absolutely, and they're seeking it, and they need to seek it, because what they've done with the agencies and their positions. I'm just thinking about like Donna Sifford, the Customs Border Protector. Um, what in the world? What in the world? What in the world? Um, she's been exposed with others. And, to be exposed in this case, um, with vile and vulgar rhetoric, the rhetoric of the narrative from Chris Grant and other witnesses, and they lied. They absolutely lied. Um, where is he? He should absolutely be arrested. Why is he being protected? So this is the weaponization of our agencies. Very clear. Very clear. So thank you so much. And we will absolutely come back tomorrow. Uh, you know, great things may happen on Ash Wednesday when we humble ourselves, right? Great things. And there's so much going on behind the scenes, with the new investigations, with our discussions with Washington, D.C., with our discussions, with our planning and discussions with federal agents, and on and on. So, yeah, and we have many more letters we have to write, many more letters, because, uh, just to continue to move these agencies to do their job, is our goal, is absolutely our goal. And that's the only way we can do this peacefully and justly. Um, and so we need those prayers for the right words, and to reach out to individuals that will actually be moved and do their duty. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing.